mayoral candidate who apparently won in 2021 by the names of Robert Chagulanyi aka Bobi Wine. But those elections were fraudulent by the incumbent President Museveni, who's been there for unbelievable 40 years. We just had elections yesterday, the 15th. But guess what? The same old story is happening again.
Africa needs to wake up. If you're African, you need to wake up. You telling me we have the power to put a man in position, but we don't have the power to bring a man out of position? There is nonsense. We have the power. It takes a heart. What's going on in Uganda? Bobi Wine won the election. But this man sent his military, his army, to come and arrest the man that won the election.
Fellow Ugandans, my name is Chagulanyi Sentamu Robert, also known as Bobi Wine. Today is Saturday, the 17th of January 2026, and the time is 9 a.m. in the morning. My wife and I have been under house arrest since the 15th of January when we had elections. And yesterday, our house was raided by some police officers together with a number of other unknown individuals in plain clothes. They used ladders to climb over our fence. They cut off our electricity, they cut off our cameras, and they were being assisted by a helicopter that was hovering in the sky of our compound and providing them light as they were doing what they were doing. Amidst that raid, I was able to use my skills and escape my house. But I know they're looking for me. But even if they succeed and get me and do whatever, I want to say this to you, fellow Ugandans. First and foremost, we reject whatever is being declared by Mr. Byabakama, because those so-called results that they're declaring are fake and they don't in any way reflect what happened at the polling stations or what is at the declaration forms. And therefore, those results, the so-called results, are fake. After arresting almost all our agents, after ballot stuffing, and after shutting off the internet, the regime is trying to once again rig the elections. What happened in the polling station is a completely different story, and we demand that the internet be restored and the rightful declaration forms and tally sheets from the districts are uploaded on the internet so that the people of Uganda can see the rightful results in transparency. We also demand that they hold whatever declaration is going on until the internet is restored and until the people of Uganda can follow up on the results in transparency. We are glad that there are protests, and we encourage the people of Uganda to resist any rigging and to resist any effort of subduing their voice. We also want to call upon the media, which has deliberately ignored what is happening in the country. There are widespread protests across the country, and there's widespread arrests and people are being killed. For example, in Butambala, at the house of Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi, 10 people were shot and killed in one house by the police. In Waise, 4 people have been shot dead. In Mukono, 4 people were shot dead. In Machinge, we have information that 3 people were shot dead.
Welcome back to the community once again, ladies and gentlemen. Guess what? A political moment in East Africa is drawing attention far beyond the region. As global power, long rule, youth frustration, and disputed election results quietly collide, leaving many watching closely to see what comes next. Uganda has once again become the center of attention after its national election results were officially announced by the country's election body. According to the announcement, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? The sitting head of state was declared the winner of the vote held on Thursday. The commission said he secured about 7.9 million votes, which it described as more than 70% of the total count. This decision extends his leadership by another 5 years, yes, adding to a rule that has already lasted for several decades. The announcement was made shortly after voting ended at a time when public tension was already high, and many people were closely following development, waiting for clarity. Ladies and gentlemen, yes,
candidate Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, having obtained the highest number of votes in the election and the votes cast in his favor being more than 50% of the valid votes cast at the election, the Commission hereby declares the elected president declares candidate Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
The opposition side responded quickly to the declaration. The leading opposition figure rejected the results and publicly described them as fake. His camp said their candidates received about 2.7 million votes and argued that the official numbers did not reflect what they believed happened at polling stations across the country. This statement added to an already tense situation, especially as communication across the country had become limited due to a nationwide internet shutdown reported around the same period. This made it difficult for many citizens to access information or share their experiences freely, increasing uncertainty and concern. At the same time, ladies and gentlemen, international attention began to grow after comments linked to the President of the United States of America surfaced in relation to Uganda's leadership. Reports circulating online claimed that the American leader had spoken strongly about long-serving leaders in Africa and had vowed firm actions within the first 100 days of his presidency. Whilst these statements were being shared widely, ladies and gentlemen, they added another layer to an already complex political moment. Observers noted that the situation now involved not just local political disagreement, but also wider global interest, leaving many people watching carefully as events continue to unfold. Before we continue, ladies and gentlemen, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Your support helps us keep sharing or bringing clear and calm news stories like this, and it truly means a lot to us. Okay, so as reactions continue, a detailed statement appeared on social media from the main opposition leader, Bobi Wine. In that message, ladies and gentlemen, he described events that he said happened at his home during the night. He wrote, and I quote, "Last night was very difficult at our homes in Magari. The military and police raided us. They switched off power and cut off some of our CCTV cameras. There were helicopters hovering over." He went on to explain that he was able to leave the area, saying, and I quote, "I want to confirm that I managed to escape from them. Currently, I am not at home, although my wife and other family members remain under house arrest." These claims quickly spread and became, a major part of the public discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, so in the same statement, the opposition leader, Bobi Wine, explained why many people were unsure about his location. He said, and I quote, "I understand that there has been great concern and speculation regarding my whereabouts. Please understand this is the context of a nationwide internet shutdown." He added that neighbors believed something serious had happened after seeing heavy security presence around the home, which led to many rumors spreading quickly. According to him, ladies and gentlemen, this confusion was caused by fear, limited information, and the late night security operation, all happening at the same time. Yes, so he also clearly restated his rejection of the election outcome or results. In his words, ladies and gentlemen, he said that, "I reiterate our complete rejection of the fake results Bia Bakama is reading." He listed several concerns, including ballot issues, security involvement in the voting process, and the detention of party members. These claims were presented as reasons why, according to him, ladies and gentlemen, the results lacked public support. As these statements circulated, they deepened national debate and drew further attention from outside Uganda, adding pressure to an already fragile situation. Beyond official statements, ladies and gentlemen, strong feelings were also being shared by young Africans on social media. Guess what? Some posts expressed deep frustration with leadership across parts of the continent. Yes, especially where leaders have remained in power for many years. Yes, so one widely shared message referred to earlier remarks made by the President of the United States of America about Africa, saying, and I quote, "When Donald Trump said that Africa is a shithole, he was unfortunately describing a reality that far too many of our leaders have worked very hard to create." The writer described this view as painful, but said some young people reluctantly agree with it because of long-standing leadership problems. The same message pointed to an example from Uganda, mentioning that a very elderly member of parliament from the ruling party had recently been re-elected. The writer criticized regional bodies for celebrating such outcomes and argued that these actions show how disconnected leadership can be from the young people's needs. The post encouraged young Africans, especially those without political connections, to seek education and opportunities abroad in order to secure a better future of their families. This message, ladies and gentlemen, reflected a broader feeling of disappointment and loss of hope among some youth, rather than a single political position. Okay, so at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, it is important to know that Africa is not the same everywhere. Some countries on the continent have followed different paths with more stable systems and regular leadership changes. Analysts often point out that each country has its own history and challenges shaped by past conflicts, colonial borders, and of course economic struggles. In Uganda's case, ladies and gentlemen, long-term leadership has brought both stability in some periods and strong criticism in others. This mix of praise and concern helps explain why reactions to the election have been so intense and emotionally charged. As Uganda moves, ladies and gentlemen, forward from this election, the situation remains sensitive and closely watched. The opposition leader, also known as Bobi Wine, also addressed public demonstrations in his statements, saying, and I quote, "We condemned the murder of numerous or many citizens who have thus far attempted to peacefully demonstrate." He added that citizens have a right to defend their choice of government. These words underline how serious and emotional the moment has become for many people. At the same time, ladies and gentlemen, authorities have not accepted these claims and official investigations. The opposition statements, ladies and gentlemen, ended on a message of hope and determination. It said, and I quote, "The people of Uganda will ultimately win." This closing line has been widely shared and has become a symbol of resilience to supporters. Meanwhile, the government maintains that the election followed the law and that the results reflect the will of the voters. With both sides holding firm positions, ladies and gentlemen, the coming period is expected to focus on legal processes, public order, and international observation. Looking ahead, Uganda's political future will depend on dialogue, institutions, and how concerns are addressed peacefully. History shows that moments like this can shape a country for many years, especially when trust between citizens and leadership is tested. How leaders respond now may influence stability, unity, and of course public confidence. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video, subscribe, and stay connected for more calm and clear news updates like this.